Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Destiny 2. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and salutations. Today, all things are probable. Let's get to it. Tree of Probabilities is one of the Nightfall options for the week, and if you're going to go for the score, you're going to want to do a couple of things. You're going to want to get a challenge card from Zuri. You're going to want to get a team of 3 to go in and be able to communicate with them. Now, I would recommend setting up the challenge card with a Singe, whatever super or power weapon that you're going to use, and set it as that, and have everyone use that one. So if someone's going to use a power weapon as their main form of damage for the boss, then that should correspond to the Singe. If they're using their super, then that should correspond to the Singe, etc. So, can you do both? Sure. Now, what else? You're going to want to set up the challenge card with Match Game, Extinguish, and Blackout to maximize your score. You're going to want to set up the handicap so that your lowest guy will be brought down to 540 power level. So if you are at 600 and everyone's sitting at 600, then you're going to set up the handicap at 60. This will maximize that multiplier, so every kill will give you a lot of score. Now, the other thing is that you'll want to get done around 15 minutes. If you go over a little bit, that's okay. But you'll certainly want to finish by 20 minutes. 20 minutes is the maximum before you start just losing score. You lose your entire multiplier and your score will just keep going down. So you absolutely want to finish the strike by the 20-minute mark. Alright, what else? For this particular one, once you get to the Infinite Forest, you'll want to send one person ahead and 2 people left behind to deal with ads. The one person that goes ahead, they'll be in charge of opening the gates, so you're not waiting for the gate to open up to move on. That's precious seconds that you're going to be losing that you could have been destroying bad guys and boosting your score. Now, additionally, for any Nightfall where you have Match Game enabled, you're going to want to have every member of your fire team with a different flavor of energy weapon. And what I mean by that is you're going to want to have one person with arc, one with solar, one with void, so that whatever shield comes up, you'll know whether or not that you are responsible for taking it down. Now, yes, that does mean that one person will have an energy weapon that corresponds to the Singe. Now, we ran Solar Singe so we could run with the Sleeper Simulant, and I opted to also use a Solar subclass. So when you see a shield of a particular type, you call it out. So whoever is holding that particular flavor of weapon, they can take out the shield, and then everyone can focus on taking the guy out.
The Vanguard would disagree. I didn't ask them.
Now, because there is a cooldown for resurrections, you'll want to go down as few times as possible. If you do, it's not a big deal. You can still get the score. It's just going to take you a little bit longer to finish. And as we all know, time is not in your favor. 15 minutes. Once that is up, you will lose a chunk of your multiplier, if not all of your multiplier, depending on what it is. And you will start losing score. So whenever you start losing score, it is always a bad thing. So by the time you get to 15 minutes, you're going to want to be over 100,000 and finished or close to finishing, so that you don't lose more score than you have available to lose when you're looking at how much time you have and how much score you have. Obviously, you want to get as high of a score as possible, because you take 100,000 points in the divisor, and whatever your score is as the top number. So if you get 200,000 points on a Nightfall, you divide it by 100,000, and that'll give you 2. And what that 2 represents is your Nightfall rank increase. So if you've never run a particular Nightfall before and you get 200,000, that's going to add 2 whole points to your Nightfall rank. And you'll want to get hopefully up to 14 before the season ends on November 27th. Each season is approximately 3 months, so you have 3 months to work on all things Destiny, whether it's Crucible, Vanguard rank, Gambit, etc. Because at the end of that time, you'll lose that rank, whatever it happens to be, and it'll be reset to 0. Alright, so once you get through the Infinite Forest, you're going to get to a gated section, a gated encounter where you have to kill certain enemies in order to proceed. Now, and also at the end of the Infinite Forest, you have a gated encounter where you have to take out some of the Cabal in order to move forward. So once you kill the certain gated enemies and the way forward is clear, then you'll be able to move on to the next encounter. Once you get to the next encounter, then that is where the wanted boss is. So it's not the end of the Nightfall, but it does include the wanted enemy. If you can take that guy out, it'll be a nice boost to your score, and you'll be able to pad your score even more than what it already is. Because you're going to want to kill as many enemies as possible so that by the end you'll have a nice buffer or a nice score, depending on how much time it takes you to get from the start to the end of the encounter or the Nightfall. Now, this Cabal has 3 parts to it, the Cabal boss. The first part, if you are coordinated and you are focusing fire, you have the ability to take the boss down in that first encounter. If something happens, like in this particular run, where I was put down by his melee attack, his quake attack, then you'll have to move on to the 3rd round. So you'll have to go through all 3 rounds. So the sooner you can take him out, the better. And if you can take him down in that first encounter, that's great. If it not, then depending on your time, you can have time to actually boost your score even more with the different encounters for each part. Now, do be aware of the lasers. The lasers are solar damage, and they will easily take you out in any situation, but if it's solar singe, even more so. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to ring the bell before you leave to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. And thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.
Guardian down. That chasm in front of us looked uninviting, so I simulated a sparrow for you.
I had the same idea. You just said it first.
I can't tell these Cabal apart from the real thing.
What's the difference? Vex simulations can kill. These copies have the same goal as their counterparts. Find a future where the Legion wins the Red War.
Guardian, down. Guardian down. Guardian down. So, where's this Valus?
Wait for it.
The Vex activated their security grid.
They see you and the Cabal as invaders. Relax. It worked out fine the first time.
activated more lasers.
It's hard not to admire the artistry.
It's really not. Guardian down. All eliminated. We'll make a full report to the Vanguard.
It's always an honor, Guardian. Take care of him, Ghost.
If you'll let me.